Toro Titan. And I got pretty much everything back together. Got all my sheet metal on. Both heads are on and gaskets have been replaced. There's a new gasket there. There's a new gasket there. And got my wiring kind of ready. So as soon as I get the intake put back into place, I can just start attaching it to the intake. And I got my control assembly put back together. And my springs hooked back up where they belong. I got my exhaust hooked back up, all tightened down, ready to go. And I guess I can put my cables on tonight too. That shouldn't be a problem. And then all I have to do then is install my intake and carburetor. Before I put my top cover back on, I might fire it up for a few seconds just to see what happens. And if it seems to run all right, then I'll go ahead and put the cover on and I'll run it for even longer. So still got the intake to finish up. I did get some epoxy on here. So as soon as I get that cleaned up and ready to go, I'll be able to install it. All right, welcome back everybody. Yeah, back on the Titan again. I have the intake bolted on and tightened down. The epoxy back here, I think you can see it a little bit there. It seems to be holding up under pressure. So I think we're going to be good there. Sorry about that. Yeah, seems to be holding up. And see back in there a little bit. I can't see that one too as good, but it's there. Sometimes, guys, I do a little freehand at the beginning. Just stick with it. I usually don't do that for very long, and I've got you in the tripod and doing most of the video after that. But sometimes I'm trying to get you in here to see like intricate stuff or stuff that can't be seen very well unless you get in there and look at it. I'll try to show you as much details as I can. So if I'm freehanding it and you're getting a little seasick, just hang in there a little bit, you know, for a minute or two, and usually I've got you back in the tripod by then and trying to show you some good content. So, but here we are, we're back with the Toro Titan. I just did tighten down the intake, and I've got the carb, the choke on the carb is connected. I'm getting ready to hook up the throttle. If you remember, when I was taking it apart, we had this little black clip. So make sure you don't lose that, or you will not be able to hook this back up. So I'm going to slide this clip in, and it needs to slide in from the back side. See that piece there? It needs to slide in from the back side of it, of this linkage here. You slide that in there, you tilt it back a little bit. You take your spring and you go into the hole next to that. So drop your spring in there. That's done and out of the way. You take your rod and you slide it forward. There's a little groove. You slide that forward, and then you slide your little clip over and clip it onto the rod. Boom, you're done. So all that is in place. So let's actuate everything. Let's make sure everything's working fine. You watch it while I actuate it, and you let me know if there's anything wrong. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thanks for the help. All right. Raise you up here a little bit. So what we have to do now is all these wires up here. We're going to get them routed back into these clips on the intake here. And then I'll take you off the stand again. So your white wires have to go back to your coil. Make sure they go back to the coil on both sides. So this is your main coming in, and there's a jumper that goes from that coil to this coil. Make sure that's all plugged in. All right. Then your red wire goes to this little harness plug here, and it's also joined with a black wire, and that black wire is your ground. That plugs into the bottom of your carburetor. All right. Are you with me? Now, you can put you back in the stand here. Now you can take and start routing these wires back through here. Nice and neat here. And once I get done, I'll give you a close-up of that, just so you can see what's going on the back side too. All right. Get up there. Get on up there. There you go. Be a good little wire. All right. And then the red one, you can fish that up through here like so. And the red one we might have to change a little bit. I'm not sure yet because I don't remember exactly how that one went. But it all depends on if there's like room coming out for here. But it should, if I remember right, it should come alongside the carburetor here. Take your wire ties and you want to cinch these down so that way they don't come up off of here and end up getting burnt on some hot exhaust or a hot head, or get hung up in the fan of the flywheel. We'll grab our knife and we'll trim that off. So now we have to install our intake and filter housing assembly. Make sure you clean everything off really good. Give it a good blow down. And I believe that I need to put the top cover on first, I think. Yep, the top cover's got to go on before the filter housing, because as you can see here, on this cover, you have this one, and this one, and it matches up with the same curvature on this half. So you got a bolt there, a bolt down there, and a bolt here. So that tells me the top cover's got to go on first. A nice cover. It seems like the newer stuff is coming out with the slotted holes. Just like I talked about before in one of my other videos, I took one of these covers and I slotted them, and because that way you don't have to take the screws all the way out. And when you're using a hand wrench, it can take you a minute to get that out of there. I've got this lifting bracket in the wrong position. I need to flip it this way so that it clears here, and this will sit all the way down just like it is over here. And those little screws on the back side are an 8mm screw. So it's going to take me a few minutes to get these screwed into place. I'll bring it back in a few minutes. All right, I got the cover cinched down. We can swing our hoses around, and we can hook your pulse line up. And if you check your pulse line, make sure there's no issues with it, because if there's any cracks or leaks in this pulse line, it won't actuate the diaphragm that's on the inside of here, and you won't have very good fuel pressure, if any at all. So make sure it's in good shape. Snug that up. Be careful, you don't need to kill that. That's just plastic. Crankcase ventilation hose. And that hose hooks onto this stem right here. So as you're rolling it onto here, you can put this on real quick. And there's no clamps. All right. So I need to put this on now. Set my clamp on. There's another little hose here. There's another little stem right there. Don't forget to hook that up. Make sure that everything meshes up properly. So the way this is set up, when you want the cover to be on top of this piece here, on that flange that I showed you earlier. There we go. And I believe that is pretty much it for the motor. Let me get my fuel lines up out of the way. Air filter's still in pretty good shape. Just gonna blow it out. All right, that's pretty decent. Everything nice and clean here. Everything good. Yep. Still a good fit. Good to go there. Alright. I'm gonna set the mower down, and before I'm gonna take this filter back off too. To set it down, try to give it a test run. I always use a little always use fuel, and this happens to be mixed fuel, It's not going to hurt a thing. And I just put it in some kind of bottle that I can squeeze. And I got the hose running all the way down to the bottom here. And so I loosened the cap so I can't squeeze it out, or heat causes it to push the fluid out. And then when I'm ready to use it, I just snug it up, and then I can squeeze it and fluid will come out. I'm going to shoot a little bit in here to kind of prime things a little bit. Let's see if she'll fire up. All right. Cross your fingers for me. Oh. Gotta hook the battery up first. Yep, that might help if I hook the battery up first. All right. All I was on there is just listening for the fuel solenoid. It seems to be working. All right. Keep your fingers crossed. That's good. Gotta get that fuel pulled up in there. I couldn't get it to do that before. Seems to be idling a little bit low. Let's see if I can make that adjustment. So you got an adjustment screw right back here, and when you pull the throttle back, when you pull the throttle forward, it actually pushes on this piece here, right? Well, it's nowhere near touching it. It's about a 1/4 inch away. And I'm on my mark, and I don't think that's quite it. Could be, but I don't think so. All right. So that's your choke. Here's your throttle there. I might make an adjustment to the that screw. Not sure what I want to do. Let me mess around a little bit. Let's see what happens. All right, so I think that would work. So we can start that back up and see what happens. be a little bit in the fuel line or a little bit in the carburetor. Might have to take a couple minutes to work its way through. And but if it doesn't clear up and it still does that surging and popping, I might pull the carburetor off and run it through the ultrasonic cleaner. Give me a few minutes. I might just take it, run it around a little bit, and I'll bring you guys back. Like a kitten now. I made a little adjustment down here, but she just cleared up on her own. Might have been a little something in the line still, making her run the way she was. Cool down, and I'll start her up again, do a cold start on her. If she still runs fine, I'm going to say she's good. I'll let you guys watch me cut a little bit of grass. While I cut the grass, can you guys do the trimming for me, all the weed eating? I think we got her, guys. I just cut my backyard here. Not a problem one. She sounded good. She idles good. And when I engaged my blades, I engaged them while she was at idle, and she took it. She didn't bog down hardly any and didn't shut down. So yeah, we're good. That governor's working good, and the carburetor's good. Everything's good on her. Yeah, I'll let her cool down and do a cold start and make sure she's running good then, and I'll send her out of here. Hopefully you like the content. If so, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, send me some comments, let me know what you think. Be kind and help people when you can.